What's up, my friends? How are you? Back at it again, Coach Quick. Nice to see you. So, I don't know really what's going to come up. I kind of do. I kind of have some things I want to talk about or just share, right? Something like that. But I've been trying to be more intentional lately, more in my feelings, more just willing to stretch and grow as a person and stuff. And a lot of good things have come up, a lot of different feelings and stuff like that. Just getting back to myself, more centered, more connected, stuff like that. So maybe this message is for you, maybe it's not, maybe you watch some, maybe you come back to it, maybe it doesn't resonate with you at all. But my only ask of you would be, if it doesn't resonate with you, maybe you share it with somebody else that you think that could use it. And it's really not for me. It's just, there's a lot of people out there going through whatever, right? And so maybe somebody else could use it and stuff like that. But yeah, so we'll just go from there and see what comes up anyways. So it's like all good stuff, all positive stuff. Maybe you've heard it 1,000 times. Maybe it refreshes your memory. Maybe it sparks something inside of you that's new and different. Maybe it just gets you thinking a different way. Maybe you just had no idea that any of this existed. Who knows? Maybe you learned something. I don't know. But it's funny when I make these videos, I never know where they're going, right? And so I haven't done one in a long time. So here we go. So just a caveat, like before we get into it. So when I make these videos, like I never know where they're going to go, right? And one time I woke up at like 2 in the morning. I was going to go to the bathroom, whatever. It was like looking at my phone, like, you know, blah, 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 scrolling. And I had this message on my phone, and it was from this person that I've never met. And I don't even know them at all, zero. I think they lived in like Florida or somewhere, right? What I'm getting at is, on the message, it was like a Facebook Messenger message, and it said, hey, ran into one of your videos. I was watching your video. Long story short, I was going to kill myself. And I happened to run into one of your videos, and now I'm not going to do that. And tomorrow I'm checking into like a rehab or something like that. And I know we don't know each other, but I just wanted to say thank you and I appreciate you. And that was basically the gist of it. So you never know who can help, who can touch, who can reach, who can change. And so, yeah. Before I got that message, you know, maybe I was doing it for the likes, or I wanted to be popular, or I wanted to be this life coach that like everybody talked about and blah, blah, blah. And as I get older, more things shift, and that is no longer the way I roll through life. That's not it. None of that matters to me anymore, right? It was just so heartwarming, and just the feeling that I got, right? It was just unbelievable. It was just really powerful. And so yeah, so that being said, this time last year, or even like February of last year, maybe even December of last year, somewhere in there, completely different person, right, from who I was a year ago. A lot of things you have to be really intentional about, right? You have to design your life. You have to be aware of the people that you are letting in your life. Like all this stuff we know, but we still find ourselves in this rat race or this hamster wheel, and we're just going round and round. And, you know, have you ever had things going like decent or pretty good, and for whatever reason you're just not happy, or you feel disconnected, or there's just like, you feel like you're meant for more, or stuff like that, right? Well, I believe that it's like you are disconnected from your future, right? And so if you don't have something that you are looking forward to, that you are working on, that you are excited about, anything like that, you're not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to be excited, right? You're just going to be waiting for the weekend, and you're on this hamster wheel, and it's just like, you know, like, I don't want to say like turmoil or devastation, but it's just not fulfilling. You're just not feeling it, right? There's a disconnect, there's something, right? So 95% of the people out there have not designed their life, right? They're not intentional. They've never done a mind mapping exercise. 95% of the people have never even wrote on a whiteboard or journaled or anything like that, right? And we know, we hear it all the time, but yet we're still stuck in this whatever, right? So I'm just like wondering, like, how do you guys, like, what excites you? Like, how do you get excited? What fulfills you? How do you measure how you're doing in life? Because if you're just going through your everyday life, if you're just on this, like, you're in the motions, you're doing the things, right? And then how do you judge it? How do you know when you're happy? How do you know when you're not happy? How many times does your day turn into somebody else's day, right? Like, did you get through all of today without having somebody else's agenda infiltrate your agenda, right? And I understand we have kids, husbands, girlfriends, boyfriends, family, all that stuff, right? But we still need to be really, really intentional about your time. You have to, I mean, everybody gets the same amount of hours in a day. We know that. Everybody has, lots of people have kids. Lots of people have busy, busy lives. But there is somebody out there right now that is less intelligent than you, that's living a way happier life, right? Not saying that the people, like, let's see. So there's somebody right now. So some people think that you've got to have it all figured out, or you've got to be this super smart person to change your life or to have this great life. But no, there's people right now that did not have were not afforded the opportunities to have, like, the great schooling or all that, right? And so maybe they don't know as much as you know about certain things or whatever, but man, they have a freaking great life. They're happy. You're like, you ever met those people where you're just like, whoa, like, on the outside, maybe they don't have a lot, or they're not rich, they don't drive the nicest car, they don't have a bunch of friends, but man, they are freaking happy. Or you go somewhere and it's like the barista that's making the coffee and she is just happy as all get out, and you're like, what is going on with you? What are you doing? I need that. I want that. Like, you know what I mean? Or just, you've seen these people, right? And so it just got me thinking, like, I was not always so intentional. I was not always so dialed in, just like methodical about, like, how I roll through life, right? I used to just react to life instead of respond, or I used to respond to life instead of whatever. I used to, oh my God, it's been a long day. I can't even think. I want to happen to life. I don't want to just respond to life, right? I want to make sure that at the end of the day, it's designed on my terms, right? So what does that look like? You have to be so intentional about what you're doing. And I know this is, like, redundant for some people, but I don't know why we're not doing it. Because, like, at the end of the day, you can go through life. Everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants enough money, love, all that stuff, right? And so I just think that, you're not going to care about your boats, your jet skis, your trips to Paris, your whatever else on your deathbed, because I know it to be true, because, I've been around a little bit, and it's just, it doesn't work that way. Nobody's on their deathbed like, fuck, I wish I had one more trip to Paris, right? Like, it just doesn't work that way. I wish I had people that were in my life more. I wish I loved more. I wish I would have cared. I wish I would have mattered more. I wish I would have done all these things, regrets, right? So, whether it's you or your friends, your loved ones, how are you showing up for people, right? Like, you have these group of friends, or your family, or your spouses, or whatever. Do you guys have conversations? Like, we're getting down, right? Like, now we're like, it sounds really like foo-foo or whatever, but, like, I have friends that I ask, like, these questions consist, like, how are we? Are we good? Like, is there any way I could best support you? Or what do you feel for me? How do I show up? Is there anything that I could do better, change, maybe work on? Is there anything that you need from me? Like, how are you doing? Is there anything I can do? And And if it's good, like, how could I best serve you? How could I make it better, right? Everybody wants fulfillment, because if you don't have fulfillment, then you're going to be depressed. And then it just spirals out of control. And then I was starting to think, like, if you can actually make yourself sick from your mind, you can manifest sickness in your body, you can do all these things, then can't you heal yourself with your mind too, right? It takes a lot of freaking practice, and it's not going to be rainbows and unicorns every single day. You're not going to get it right. But if you're intentional about it, if you wake up, you're like, everybody says the things that you're grateful for, all those things, right? That's a good start, but you have to put in like some mechanisms and some tools and tips and habits and values. Like, how have you like drilled down on your life to know, do you even know what you like anymore? Like, how many people out there have your life so wrapped up in somebody else's life, and you hear about people getting divorced or whatever, and then they are like, man, I don't even know what I like because I was so wrapped up in the marriage. Or kids leave the house, they're empty nesters, and you're like, I don't even know what I want to do, right? So, or you always hear like something catastrophic happens to somebody, and then you start caring about your life. You're like, oh my God, that was pretty close. We made it out of that. I better be more intentional. What if we just started doing that without something happening to us? What if we could just be that way all the time? And, I would ask of you guys maybe to be a little less critical on yourself, right? Because you are not your situation. You are not what is happening to you. You are your energy, your vibration, you are attracting stuff. So the stuff that you say in your head, you would never say that shit to somebody else, right? Or maybe you would. Maybe you're that person. I don't know. There's those people out there. But we are so critical on ourselves. We are so, like, hard on ourselves sometimes, right? It's if you imagine all the things that you say to yourself throughout the day that are not serving you, right? And you were to, like, write it down, be really intentional about it, and, like, just record it all day. Oh, that was a bad thought. You're in tally, like your negative thoughts would probably outweigh your, oh, that a boy, you did good, right? So for me, there's two things that I did that really, really helped me. So maybe this is a life hack for you guys or something. I've never really heard of it. I don't even know where I got it. Maybe I made it up. I don't know. Maybe I'm stealing somebody else's stuff. But I don't remember hearing it. I don't even know. But anyways, so one day I was thinking, like, you got these alarms on your phone, right? And if there's a certain time of day that you feel a little wonky, say maybe in the evening when you're by yourself, you're feeling a little lonely, or you wish you had a significant other, or you're just, after work might be a pain point for you, like, you just hate your job, or maybe going into your job, you're like, you really don't want to go there, or you're studying hard, or maybe you just failed the test. I don't know what it is, but you have alarms on your phone. So why wouldn't you use your alarms to give yourself a little that a boy, right? So maybe you set your alarm 3 times a day. Maybe it's in the morning right when you wake up, and it says, you can put little memos in your alarm or whatever and say, remember why you're doing this, or I love you, whatever motivational memo you want to write yourself that will spark that, like, oh, you're right, you're being hard on yourself. Then maybe after lunch you get another one, or after work, or in 2 hours before you go to bed. Remember to go to bed thoughtful, grateful, full of joy, intentional, right? That's one of the life hacks that I use, because I would often get in my head and I would stew, and I would just, it kind of gives me a slap in the face. And then after a while, like a month or what, it keeps doing it. Guess what? At some point, you're not going to need the alarms, because you're going to be trained. You're going to be, like, dialed in. You're not going to need it's good to keep the alarms if you want to, but after a while, it's just going to be a regiment, right? It's just going to be like, oh, no, bring it back to gratefulness, bring it back to stuff like that, right? The other thing, little life hack that, this is going to sound really weird, and I don't even know why I started doing it, but this too shall pass, right? So I do like videos. For me, it works. Maybe not for anybody else. And you're not going to show this to anybody else, right? It's just a self-documentary for yourself. So, okay, hear me out. when you're going through a shitty situation, right? Like one of those shitty situations, like where you're, I don't know, crying, or you really, I mean, like you feel like you can't live because you just broke up with a girlfriend, or you just got fired from a job, or somebody passed away, or somebody got sick, or a friend moved away, whatever that big thing is for you. When you're feeling really down and you're feeling really shitty, make a video to your future self, right? And so when you're happy or whatever, right? So you're going to make a video while you're feeling shitty, and you're going to make it to your future self, and your future self is going to be happy and is going to go back to this video, and it kind of will show you like, hey, this is where we were before. Don't be hard on yourself, because remember this, you were here and now you're doing good. So don't lose focus. You got this, whatever, because look how far you came. Keep going, right? And you're not going to be able to say that stuff right then. It's going to be more of a video like, God, this sucks, man. And you're just going to tell yourself, like, I know it's hard as fuck, but I did this. I made a video and I said, in my feelings, I tried to get out of my feelings. And I said, I was like, you know, maybe you're crying, maybe you're not. And I said, fuck, this sucks. But in my head, and maybe out loud, I'm saying this too, like, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get to the other side. You have survived everything. This is not where it ends for you. You are awesome. Tell yourself whatever. But so that's, just make a quick little video of you in the shitty feeling, right? So when you are in a place of awesomeness, or you reached happiness and you're feeling a little stagnant, or you feel yourself slipping backwards, right? Or you're doing shit that you know you shouldn't be doing, that's not leading to success, or it's not conducive to where you want to go, you can pull that video back up and you'll be like, oh fuck, that's right, okay, I have came far, let me just get my shit back together, you know what I mean? And then it's you talking to you. This ain't somebody else trying to tell you like, you need to buck up, you need to like get back on track, right? No, you'll be watching you, and you'll remember, man, that was a fucking rough one. I need to get my shit back together, right? There's a double-sided coin. So when you are on the top of the world, I mean, when you're in flow state, when everything is just you can't do no wrong, things are clicking, it is like you are on fire. Make a video to your not feeling so good self, right? And so, God forbid, I hope this doesn't happen. I hope you guys are just on an up trajectory forever. If it was my world, that's what it would be. But there's bumps in the road, there's bruises, everybody slides backwards from a time or two. But when you are on that pinnacle, when you're on the top of the hill, and then you do feel like crap, and you feel like nobody sees you, there's no way out, there's not one possible person in the world that feels your pain, you can pull that video up and you can watch it, and it's you again, you talking to you, and you can realize that like, you did crawl out of the shit before. You were on the top of the hill before. You made it. It is possible. You don't have to sit there in woe is me. Now, let me tell you, like, you got to feel it. You got to go, yeah, sure, feel it. It's just not okay to stay there, right? So that's two things, like set your alarms for that a boys, or an awesome little memo or something to yourself, right? You'll know what you need or how you need to phrase it when those alarms go off. Or a little video, right? That you can do. And you know, maybe you don't want to do video, right? Video works for me. I like seeing, I'm visual. Maybe you just get a voice memo and you document it, not one of my best days, or when I was low, and you listen to that and you hear your voice and you hear the pain in your voice and you're like, oh man. And so when things are going good and it slides back down, or you're just losing the momentum, you pull it up, like, oh, I don't want to be that dude anymore. No, I've came so far. Let me get back on my grind, right? And then same thing, man. Maybe you can voice memo like, oh, remember, this is so awesome. It feels so good. And be really like, describe your feelings, just like you're talking to yourself. This is your inner soul talking to your other self, right? And then so when you're down and out, you can just, you know, you made it. You this happens to everybody. You can get back on top. So that's the two hacks I wanted to tell you guys that I remembered, and I just wanted to share. But yeah, man, everybody I think just don't be so hard on yourself, right? It's okay to not have evidence that what you're doing right now, you might not have any evidence. You don't know if it's gonna work out or if it's gonna, so you might as well just think it's gonna, because it takes the same effort to think that it's gonna than it's not gonna. So might as well think the good stuff. And I would be careful who you share your ideas with, right? There's nothing worse than you feeling like you have a great idea, and it's about who you surround yourself with, right? And so you could be thinking about this idea all day, and you could be so stoked about it, and then you run into the one person and you say, oh man, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and they go, oh, you sure? You don't look like an actor. I don't know. But, I feel like I'd be a great actor. You never know. But it could be anything, right? Or just the negative people at the water cooler when you're at work or whatever, right? You got to nip that in the butt, because they will steal your energy. They will steal your power. They're just jealous that you're doing something that they're not. And you got to remember, at some point in this world, nothing was possible. Everything is not possible until it's possible, right? So planes, radios, TVs, like self-driving cars, right? Somebody had to think of it. Somebody had to do it. And somebody was like, yeah, right. Cell phones? You fucking kidding me? Like, I could just make a video and touch lots of people. Like, insane. So, just don't be too hard on yourself. And if things are going good, please help somebody else. Shine the light on somebody else too. Help them get to where you're at, or put them in the right direction, or whatever it is, or smile at somebody, ask somebody's name. Just have we are so blessed to live in this world. There's lots of things wrong with this world, but there's a lot of good stuff too, right? And so, that's basically all I got. I was just really feeling it today, right? And I haven't made a video in a long time, a little rusty, I know, yada, yada, yada. But look at me, do I care? No, do I care? No, I don't care. So, there you go. Hopefully it helps somebody. Look, I got things I was writing down while I was working, right? Let's see, what do we got on here? Oh yeah, right. So, this kind of blew my mind too, right? So there's, I need to shave. Oh shit. But there's, if you do an hour a day, right? Hour a day, say, I don't know, 5 days a week, whatever. So just say if you did an hour a day for 365 days a year, that is literally 45 work days. 45, 8-hour work days. 45 of them motherfuckers. Just by doing 1 hour a day, at the end of the year, you have a whole month and a half of side hustle time. Listen, when they broke it down like that, I was like, oh man. So even if you do 30 minutes a day, right? Come on, seriously? Yo, you break it down, even you do 15 minutes a day, it all adds up, right? So that's kind of like going to the gym. Some people don't go to the gym. Sometimes me too, because I'm like, oh, I don't have 2 hours to go to the gym. Well, you have 20 minutes to go to the gym. 20 minutes times whatever is going to add up, right? So that blew my mind when I broke it down like that. I was like, dang. And so if it's the start of your week starts Sunday, right? So you should have a non-negotiable or a plan of action or something that you're going to do. You should know what you're going to be done with by Friday, right? So don't just go through your week willy-nilly and then you're just like, oh man, I didn't get this done, I didn't get that done. Have it laid out. So by Friday at 5 o'clock, all this stuff has got to be done. Nobody's saying that you got to change the world or you got to build Rome in a day. Just lay some shit out. get some wins under your belt, you know what I mean? Like, you will have momentum, confidence, you'll have the wins, you'll start to feel more motivated, like you're just going to be in it, win after win after win, just knocking them out, right? And so, and don't be too hard on yourself. Like, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do all these huge things to change the world. You can change the world. One person can change the world, right? And if you feel like you don't have the skills or the whatever techniques or whatever, you can find somebody to help you. And it blows my mind that people are stingy, selfish. I don't know. Maybe, but like, they don't want to share their ideas with somebody because they think that maybe that person's going to steal their ideas. Well, like, hey, I'm going to build a rocket, but I don't know how to build a rocket, but I got the idea to build a rocket. Anybody help me, right? And they're like, no, well, that was a good idea. I think I'll go build a rocket. But, you know, so kind of like with videos and messages and stuff like that, there's enough for everybody to eat, right? And so I say just put all your shit out there for free, and whoever wants to work with you on a deeper level, they can work with you. You can charge them then right there, right? Or whatever. But I feel like it's not serving anybody any favors playing small, right? So at the end of the day, there's enough for everybody to eat. There's enough for everybody. Nobody's going to get in your way. And nobody can say the message like you. Nobody can make the product like you. Nobody knows how to do what's in your head like you, right? So things are going to hit different for different people in different ways, right? And so, and it just blows my mind that people don't want to share or do that. It's so funny because there's just enough for everybody. So yeah, I would just say, yeah, write down what you need to get done by Friday and just kill it, right? Let's see. Oh, so in relationships, okay? Let's talk quick about relationships. It is not fair for you or the other person in the relationship to think that the other person should just know, you should just know what I want, or you should just know, like, whatever. And then you get in a fight and you're like, well, I need this. You didn't know that? And I'm like, no, I'm not a fucking mind reader. Like, are you serious? So what served me and relationships in the past with the people that I've been with, really asking, like, sitting down, like, you know, like, what are our intentions for the next 3 weeks? Like, how are you doing? What are you into? What are you working on? How can I best support you? Am I showing up in the right way? Like, what do you need, right? What do you need emotionally, sexually, friendship wise, whatever. What are you working on? Side hustles? What do you need from me? And then you just sit back and listen, right? And then so you don't get to inject your isms on them, right? So if you're asking for something that you need, I think it's fair you could probably ask for 3 things, not 50, right? That's a little, no, you don't get 50, 100 things. It's just some stupid, impossible. But I think like a couple, 2 or 3 things, like, if we're talking about a serious conversation, babe, this is what I need from you. I really need you to not get upset and talk loud or dismissive, or I just need you to hear me. I need you to, even you might not necessarily agree with it, I just would like for it to go in and you can do whatever you want with it, and for us to just have a conversation about it. Neither one of us, or I need us to know that we can have a really in-depth, deep, intense conversation without me or you hating each other or knowing that you're wrong or I'm right, because we're just trying to get it out, because I don't know what's inside your head, you don't know what's inside mine, and for us to move on or get forward or be teammates or 50-50, 100-100, we need to be on the same page, right? And I feel like a lot of people are scared to do that because maybe one, they're going to think that, or the other person's going to be looking at them weird, like, where's this coming from? Since when did you get all Dr. Phil and shit, right? Like, oh, you've been watching too much of that, whatever. You're saying that you want to be with this person for the rest of your life or whatever, and you're scared to talk to them about sex, or you're scared to, you don't even know what they're really into or their hobbies or whatever the fuck, or like you guys don't, you go out to dinner and you have better conversations at dinner than you do when you guys are with each other. I feel like you should be able to be in the same room and do absolutely nothing and still be enjoying each other's company, right? That's how you know, maybe know that like there's something there. You don't always have to be doing something. Or can you take, yeah, like, I don't even know where I heard this, but like, can you take a long car ride for like 6 hours and still be okay with that person? Well, I was like, ooh, that's a hot one. I don't know. Yeah, right. So, I just start leading by love and intention, integrity, art, and showing up for people, man. Right? This is a huge one for me. I feel like I've got this thing about people leaving, or like, oh, everybody's always going to leave anyways. So maybe I subconsciously blow up relationships just because I feel like, oh, you're going to leave anyways. Why? Who cares? Or maybe I don't actually put all myself into the relationship because I feel like, oh, why would I do that if they're just going to leave anyway? So it's really funny, all the things that come up for us that we don't even know, that we're like, it's in there festering or whatever, until something brings it up, right? Or something triggers it, and then it's like, whoa, what the fuck was that, right? So, I mean, just sit down with yourself, man. Like, you know, a good time to self-reflect. People say, I ain't got time. I got the kids. Doesn't take that long. How many times you go to the bathroom a day? Huh? How many times? How many times you go to the bathroom a day? Who else is going to the bathroom with you? Who? What? Who? You, right? Usually nobody else is in the bathroom with you. So, like, that's a good time to self-reflect, right? You add those couple times, a few times a day, whatever, and you think, man, am I doing what I said I was going to do this morning? Okay, let me dial it back in. Oh man, okay, so that got kind of little, okay, let me just dial that back in, right? That's like free time right there. Boom, it doesn't take too long. I know you got to go to the bathroom, so I know you got time. And like, you holding that shit all day, so. Those are a couple things. I don't know if you stayed this long. Awesome. I really appreciate you guys. I haven't made a video in a while. Just a couple things that were on my mind. I want you to know that you are loved, you are seen, you are valued. You deserve the life you want. You deserve to have everything that you want in life and then more. Like, you should have all of it. And it's possible. And you can. It just takes a little work. Like, I did not magically wake up like this. Like, if you knew me back when, whoo, doggy. Yeah, man,